Yep.
Okay, good morning to everyone. The Iberia Parish School Board has decided that before we do any of our summer training, they wanted to get either the head coach or the athletic director and the certified athletic trainer, this is Khan Viatar for those of you who don't know, and quickly go over just the bulleted points that they want to get the information out to the parents before we get started, hopefully on June 8th. And once we upload this video, we're also going to upload a couple of different forms that the parents will have to sign before we can officially get started. So this is going to be really informal. I'm going to read over just some of the bulleted points, and if I mess anything up, or just to confirm, Coach Conner here will go over it. So when we're allowed to start on Monday, June 8th, it's going to be in what we hope is considered phase 2, but the Iberia Parish School Board, along with Louisiana Athletic Care, took 4 different recommended guidelines, kind of put them all together, and actually came up with something that's probably a little more conservative and a little bit more on what we consider the safe end of the spectrum compared to what some other places are doing. So when we start phase 2 on June 8th, we're actually going to still keep the phase 1 numbers. And what I mean by that is we're going to start with only 10 people per group that are going to be allowed to do the workouts. And when I say 10 people, it's basically 1 coach and 9 athletes. And instead of allowing weight room usage like some other places are going to do because of all the different safety and sanitation protocols that are out there, we're going to only conduct outside workouts when we start on June 8th. So real quickly, just a few points of emphasis. We're planning on the first and second week, June 8th and then June 15th, keeping it to 10-person groups. If everything goes well and we're allowed to go into that third week in June, then we may start doing slightly bigger groups. But when we're going to start, it's still absolutely no contact. And I think the biggest point of emphasis that we need to make out there for all our parents and all our kids, you have to stay 6 feet apart through the entire workout. Even though some of our kids are maybe getting together during the week, on the weekends, outside the school environment, when we step on this campus, they have to stay 6 feet apart. We're going to have 2 to possibly 3 different locations once we designate and put all our kids together in groups where those kids can only get out at those locations, those entrances and those exits, and they have to stay 6 feet apart. I have contacted a couple of different parents. Any kid who may thought to be vulnerable or at a high risk group to this particular coronavirus, they still may be ineligible to start when we start on June 8th.
If they have any questions with those medical conditions that their kids may have, we can go ahead and contact us, and we can go through the channels we need to go through to make sure that they're protected and they're able to come to practice with us.
So what I'm doing in the meantime, we just finished having a coaches meeting where we talked about what some of our exercises are going to do. I really need each player or parent to contact me, and the kids who play only baseball and softball need to contact their coaches. And we need to find out how those kids are going to be getting here, because initially that's the groups that we're going to put together, about how kids ride and how they get together, because once they start, they cannot switch groups. That 9-person group is going to stay consistent for probably the first month of workouts that we do. A few different things. Whenever the kids get there, they will have to have, each kid individually will have to have their temperature checked and answer a couple of different questions before they can come in. If they register what they're considering a high temperature of 100.4 degrees or higher, those kids will have to go home. They won't be allowed to come in.
With the temperature checks to go off of that, there is a plan in place if a kid does register a temperature above the standard. If they have to walk to school or it's a hot day, their car doesn't have AC, something like that, we do have some measures in place, such as cooling them off for about 10 minutes, and if the temperature drops, they're okay. If it stays above that, then we would send them home and contact the parent or guardian.
All right. Another big issue, we are in the process of possibly building a certain type of water machine or hydration station that fits all the requirements that all these different medical groups are putting out. As of now, they're saying we absolutely cannot use water fountains. We can't use our the old style water bottles we had, and we can't use our water machine that we've typically used in the past. So we're going to say for now, we recommend that each kid go and buy his own cheap gallon of water to start this process off on June 8th, write his name on it, and bring that water with him. Obviously, should he drink the entire bottle, while he's here, we're going to refill it. If he doesn't, he goes home that day, he just fills the bottle. And I would think, the best thing, whenever that kid gets his clothes ready or shorts and shirt ready for the next day, go ahead and put that water bottle right at the door where he's going to exit so he doesn't forget it. And if we do get this water station, is going to have a minimum of 6 foot distance between each spigot where the water comes out, and it's going to shoot 3 to 4 feet minimum as far as how far it goes out, so where the kids will not get near it to drink. It's just going to be a long tube where water comes out, and as of now it looks like they will approve us to be able to build that particular water station. But we need in the meantime for the parents to go ahead and get at least just start off with a cheap gallon jug of water, write the kid's name on it. They're going to bring that with them each day. We are told we cannot get in the locker rooms at all at this point, so everything will be done outside. And from what we're looking at, it looks like it's going to be about 30 to 40 minutes maximum of work those first couple of weeks. It's going to be very simple exercises that we're going to be doing, things we can do on the football field, and so they won't be out here long at all. As we plan this, once I have all the groups together, I'm going to be sending out, as far as the football kids and the baseball, softball coaches will do that too, exactly which group those kids are going to be in and exactly what time they need to be here, because we're trying to stagger the groups out a little bit where we don't have like a big bottleneck of kids all here at one time. There will be obviously some places where we're going to have to wash their hands, and we will have Germex out here. If they need, between each group, they can go ahead and Germex their hands. And if there's any type of activity where they might touch something on the fence, or let's say there's a resistance band that might be used, those bands, everything will be sanitized in between each group. From that, when that group's here, as soon as that group leaves, all those items are going to be sanitized before anybody else gets near them. And I think finally the other big issue, any kid who was currently on a team with us and took their physical on the approved LHSA and medical form, those physicals are going to be allowed for them to start. Even if that physical expires in May, they're going to go ahead and extend it, allow that particular physical to last for another month or two. But in the meantime, we do need to renew our physicals. Any kid who has never played sports at Loreauville High School and doesn't have a physical on the LHSA medical form, you will have to do a physical before they're allowed to come. You're going to have to complete, I guess for lack of a better term, a COVID-19 initial assessment form, and you will have to sign a form, you and the athlete, that you viewed this video and you understand all the precautions that we have to take. If you need a physical, those of you who are from this area know that in the past, Mr. Brock Romero would set up a time and a date in our gym. He'd do all our physicals for us for $10 per person. We're being told we cannot do mass physicals. For now, we cannot get everybody together to do physicals because of obvious, the chances that this virus can spread with all the kids being together. But he has said, if you need a physical, he's located at the Loreauville Rural Health Clinic. That's on 411 South Main Street in Loreauville. The phone number there is 337-229-8288. If the parent calls and lets them know that this kid is a Loreauville athlete, he will still make an appointment and he will do the physical for $10 only. If you choose to do it another way with your own doctor, we have to get those physicals done in the month of June to make sure that we don't go past the extended date. Another thing that parents need to know, if you're coming to Loreauville High School, they have now opened online scheduling. If you go on the Loreauville High School website, if you select the guidance tab and you look and see what grade your kid is in, you can go ahead and start doing the online scheduling. If you are a female athlete, for now we have the softball girls, that athletic period will be 6th period. The 6th period of the day for female athletes, and then for the football, baseball boys, the male athletic period will be 7th period. So make sure when you're doing your electives that you put, if you're an athlete and you make sure female or male, that you put them in the correct period. And the deadline to do scheduling is May 31st. So that's actually coming up pretty soon. So we're planning to start June 8th. You have to have a physical. If you had one done in the past over here, that one is going to be allowed for us to start. You have to have that COVID-19 assessment form and this video confirmation form. All those things have to be brought with you on June 8th. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me. I'm going to upload this video and all the documents on the 3 different Facebook pages that we have in our area. I'm going to also have all of these forms in the lobby area of our front office, but my email is at iberiaschools.org, or I'll go ahead and y'all